All right. So, welcome to my book talk. I've got a question for you. You don't have to answer. I'll tell the embarrassing stories. What is the silliest thing you have ever done to try to impress somebody or make them think something about you that wasn't true? So, when I was 8 years old, I remember pretending that I had won like some TV contest and I got a Power Rangers autograph. And it was the worst forgery in the world, but I was 8 and I thought I was so cool. A little more recently, when I was in college, I had a crush on a boy from New Mexico. And if you're going to like a boy from New Mexico, you should like spicy foods. I couldn't fake that one very well because every time I tried eating spicy food, I would like start crying. So it was not a very convincing act. So the main characters in each of the books that I'm going to talk about today, they each make a choice for a different reason to try to be something they're not, to try to be seen in a way that they're not. They each make a choice for a different reason and they each have a different outcome. So in Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli, we are introduced to Leo Borlock, an average 11th grader living in Arizona. His whole world is turned upside down when a new student comes to school. Her name is Stargirl. She has a pet rat, she wears a granny gown, and she has a ukulele that she uses to serenade people on their birthdays. At first, these quirks make her popular, and they even get her a boyfriend in Leo. But eventually, the rest of the school decides that they don't really like these quirks. So Leo was busy falling in love with these quirks. The way she would write anonymous letters and mail them to people, and they'd go out and leave change on the sidewalk for people to find, because it just, it makes people happy when you find a quarter on the sidewalk. Well, he finds himself caught between the two. The school that he wants to be seen as popular and the girl that he's dating. Well, he chooses being popular over her feelings. And so she's in the middle of her first love. So she doesn't care what everybody else at the school has to say, but she listens to him when this is what he tells her. This group thing, it's very strong. It's probably an instinct. You find it everywhere, from little groups like families to big ones like a town or school to really big ones like a whole country. The point is, in a group, everybody acts pretty much the same. That's kind of how the group holds itself together. Stargirl is gone, to be replaced by Susan, who wears all the right clothes, says all the right things, does all the things to be considered your typical popular girl in high school. Things don't turn out quite how either Leo or Susan anticipated, and they both learn a valuable lesson about learning to accept yourself and others for who you are, instead of trying to be somebody that you're not, just to try to fit in. Does Stargirl ever come back? You'll have to read the book to find out the answer to that question. All right. Can you girls remember your first crush?
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
Yes.
So I can. His name was Aaron Kraft. We were 5 years old, and I thought the best way to get him to like me was to pinch him a lot. not like my finest like flirting moment in life. And as an adult, I would be terrified if Aaron were to get a letter now telling him how I felt about him when we were 5 years old. Well, that's exactly the terror that Laura Jean experiences in the book, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, by Jenny Han. Laura Jean has a lifelong habit of writing love letters to boys that she has a crush on. She never intends to mail them. She just keeps them in a hat box that was given to her by her late mother. It's always been something just for her, just a secret that she kept under her bed. Well, shortly after her older sister Margot breaks up with her boyfriend Josh and leaves for college, Laura Jean discovers that all of those letters are missing, and they've been mailed out. And so now everybody knows about these crushes she had on them, including Josh. And she is desperate to convince Josh that she is over this crush. She is so not over this crush. Enter Peter, another one of the boys she had a crush on, who also got a letter. Well, Peter agrees to fake date Laura Jean. He's doing it because he wants to make his ex-girlfriend jealous. Laura Jean is doing it because she is desperate to convince Josh that she does not have a crush on him. It's an elaborate ruse that begins to falter when each person in the triangle begins to question how they really feel about the other people in the triangle. How long can you keep up pretending to feel something when it may or may not be pretend anymore? And as if this wasn't enough for Laura Jean, she's caught between her older sister and her younger sister, trying to keep her family together in the absence of her mother. But can she do that when Margot finds out about this crush that she had on her old boyfriend? Or when Laura Jean finds out that it was her sister, her little sister, who mailed out those letters in the first place? Ooh, yeah. Yeah, not giving away that one either. All right, so the last book is a graphic novel. I love reading graphic novels. American Born Chinese by Jean Young contains it all, using humor to tie together stories of characters who have emotions and experiences that everyone can relate to. For anyone who's ever felt alone, felt like they didn't fit in, felt judged for who they were, felt like their family was ruining their life, the characters in this story experience all of that, and it's told mostly through visuals and really with very little dialogue. For people who haven't read graphic novels before, there's a whole range of novels out there that touch on all the same topics that a traditional novel would. So, American Born Chinese follows the story of three individuals: the Monkey King, Jin Wang, and Danny. One is a creature of legend. One is a new student at school who is immediately stereotyped and picked on. And one is a new kid at a different school, but he has everything he's ever wanted. Life is perfect. Each character makes choices to be something different than what they are. Out of the three main characters, two of them are unhappy with who they are. One of them has everything, but he feels like it's spiraling out of control. Which one is which? What you don't know is that all three of these stories from the very first page are connected. But you have to get all the way to the end of the story to figure out how those three stories play together and what each character has to learn to accept about themselves in order to come to peace with who they are in their family, and who their family is. So I hope I've been able to highlight some great books for all of you. If you have any questions,